everyone, I'm Michelle from Country Morning Creations, and I'm here with my latest journal. I confess that I originally set out to make this just a small journal, and this has taken on a life of its own and become its own monster of a journal. I've created it using the Spring digital kit from Dot's Inspiration Studio. And the cover is covered with this beautiful golden linen that I have. And it's actually an upholstery quality linen, so it's very durable. I have on the outside, this is just one of the images from the digital kit and a frame that I actually already had. I used Tim Holtz Distress ink on it, Distress Oxide, and then sprayed it with water to get this beautiful mottled look. I've added a butterfly that also has some of the gold and purple Tim Holtz Distress ink on it and has some cheesecloth underneath of it, as well as 3 little pieces of bling that are inspired by Yvonne Preston. So once I got done putting this piece together, I then sealed it with a matte acrylic spray. Mod Podge actually makes a matte acrylic spray. So I sealed all that so this will be a little bit more durable. Then I added this leaf ribbon or leaf lace, if you will. I got that from Hobby Lobby, along with this is actually all one long piece of lace, and I've cut it apart for these beautiful purple flowers. This is a lace from Hobby Lobby as well. And then this has all been attached to the cover. On the spine, you'll see I have an image here. This also is from Dot's Inspiration Studio. And on the back, I have just a little piece of paper with a purple butterfly as well. These butterflies are from Tim Holtz. I have a die cut for those. And of course, the backs of books should be neither boring nor blank. So I always try to put a little something on the back. Now, if you'll look at this, it's about 8 3/4 this way by 5 3/4 this way. It does have a 2.5 inch spine, and that's to hold the over 200 pages this beast now has. And you'll see on the top all this lovely seam binding. What I did was, again, I took the Tim Holtz Distress ink and dyed my seam binding with it. And you'll see I've actually dyed some other pieces with that purple as well. These are what are actually holding 3 separate journals into this binder, if you will. And then I have some yellow, again, the Tim Holtz Distress ink, and use that in here as well. And then when you open it up, it has this lovely Sprung liner that also matches the insides of all of these journals. So there are actually 3 separate journals in here. And each one of these journals has that exact same spring design on the inside, and then the outsides are actually different. So I used 3 different ones for that. And then the back has that, again, same spring one. And so for this, I'm only going to take one of these out because basically all 3 of these are the same. So there's no sense in going through all 3 of them. This will probably be a pretty lengthy video as it is. So you can see that comes right out. It's just tied in with the seam binding. Easy to take in and take out. And the reason you might want to do that is you don't want a big bulky journal to hold or to put on your desk as you're writing and journaling and putting pictures in it and that sort of thing. So I made them individual and they can each pull out. And as I said, I believe there's about 68 pages per journal, over 200 total between the 3 journals. Where they are the same is pretty much the papers that I've used in here are the same in all of the journals. They all have the same pockets and they all have ephemera in them. What's different is the order the pockets are in, what's in the pockets, as well as the order of the papers. So they're all slightly different and yet the same. So this one actually has a pocket in the front, and this is just more or less a standard pocket. Each one of them has one of these postcard paper scrap books. They have different sizes of my coffee dyed paper, as well as a couple of pieces of my favorite tracing paper. And then I love these mason jars. She did, it's a husband and wife team, did a wonderful set of mason jars with all of these beautiful crocuses, as well as, I think these are all crocuses, but maybe this has an iris on it. Oop, this one has an iris on it. So they're crocuses and irises and beautiful yellows and gold tones. And I just love that. Now, I did do a little bit of distressing on this pocket and on these pockets in all 4 of them, but I did not do a lot of distressing. I really felt like this whole digital kit lent itself to not being distressed. And I know I've had people say, well, do you distress everything? No, I actually don't. I do, however, acid neutralize all my coffee dyed paper with baking soda before I dye it, as well as using an acid neutral paper by Hammer Mill that is a 28 pound, not your usual 20 pound. I like that slightly heavier feel, and when I write on it, it just feels so much better and more sturdy. This is actually a design of my own. This is lined paper that I've added these 2 little things, so you could put a drawing there or a picture there or something, whatever you like. I left that blank, or you could number it even if you would like. I have some of these. These were actually part of a like a planner, I want to say. So I had extras of those. And then, of course, I love Edith Holden. I know she's been done and overdone, but I still love my Edith Holden. So I left these pages whole. They are flip outs. And again, more coffee dyed paper. This is another digital from that kit. This is some vintage ledger paper that I have because I've bought several ledgers. I don't know, I went on a binge and bought a bunch of ledgers. Anyway, so I'm using these are genuine. This is not a printable. And I have done some stenciling also. This is a Tim Holtz stencil using his purple Tim Holtz ink. This is, I believe it's called mulberry paper, but this has real pieces of, like, I don't know if you can see that or not. That's like onion skin in it. And I actually don't know. I haven't tried to write on it, but I imagine it writes well as you could just put pictures here. I also have in each journal 2 of these little, I guess, lace embellishments. Again, it's that same lace in purple from the front, and then this is, again, just some regular lace. Another page from the digital kit. And this is the second type of pocket that each of the books have. So I have in here a tag and some just ephemera pieces that are part of the kit. And then this is I believe Terry Woods is the one who also does this. I see it from Yvonne Preston, but she always credits Terry Woods, so I'll put both of their links below. So this folds out, and now you have a huge piece of paper that you could also write on, as well as hold things. And each one of them has a little piece of cheesecloth. And then I printed this out on some cardstock and made tickets out of it using the Tim Holtz Tickets Punch. And then I have done these butterflies with a little pearl accent on it. And again, I don't know if you can see, there's some purple and some yellow, and I used the distress inks and then sprayed them with water to get that effect. I think it really turned out nicely. So I am going to take a moment to put these all back in here. Now, just a warning, if you put something in one of these and you don't put it behind everything, it will go straight through. And then I just tuck that one in. This is a flower book that I have, so I've included full pages from that flower book. I have simply tucked this part back. It could be glued down or cut off altogether. I have some vintage French music that I adore. I get this from Monahan's Papers. Some more of that stenciling, a doily that I have coffee dyed, again with acid neutral paper. My favorite, I love the crinkle sound of tracing paper, so that's a tracing paper, and more of that digital. We come to the middle where you will notice this actually is a 5-hole pamphlet stitch using upholstery thread. That's what I've used to hold this and bind each individual journal together with. So we'll just go kind of quickly through the end, because if you know anything about a journal, these are virtually the same pages, just going the other direction now. This is one of those Tim Holtz pockets. I made this using the Tim Holtz die cut. And again, I made these adorable tickets out of this paper. And then some of these are all like, this says garden, and so I have some of these words, and every one of these pockets has all of this stuff in it, but they're slightly different. This is one tag and this is a second tag. I'm not going to pull these all the way out because sometimes it does not go well to try to put this all back in the end, so I'm going to leave those out a little bit. And just tuck all of these back in here. You could use these, you could glue maybe some of these pieces to a page in here if you wanted to, or just leave everything in here for fun. Again, this is that mulberry paper. I love that. And more of this ledger paper. Let's see if this has a date. Oh, 1921 is the date on that ledger paper. This is another pocket that I have, and all of the ephemera in here was printed on this beautiful manila colored cardstock, so it's all pretty hefty. It's not just on paper, it's all cardstock. And then there's a tag as well. And then the beauty of this pocket is that it is also another writing spot. So this folds up and folds down to become a writing spot. Again, another one of those pieces that I did and attached in here. And this is the other side of that Edith Holden page. That's the whole thing. I love the yellows and the purples in here. It complements the colors of this book so well. A little bit more stenciling. And those lined pages, and then we come to the end, and every single one of the journals has my Country Morning creations in the backs of them, as well as the binder has one in the very back of it as well. So then this would simply be put back in here, and you could readily take your next journal out. So I hope you've enjoyed the flip through. This will be listed in my Etsy shop unless it is otherwise marked sold. And I'm excited to share this with someone. I loved this idea. It was really supposed to just be 3 small journals, and they got bigger and bigger, and then the spine got bigger, and then, yeah, this just kind of took on a life of its own, but I'm extremely excited about how it turned out. I think it's just gorgeous. I hope that whoever gets it will enjoy it thoroughly. And I hope you've enjoyed this flip through of my 3-in-1 journal, and I hope I've inspired you to be creative today.